Hello and welcome to Floristry Market. My name is Greg and this is...
Emma.
And where are you from, Emma?
Lily and B.
Lily and B. Well, thank you for coming back. It's so good to see you again. It's been a while.
I know, it's been a while, but yeah, I've come back today to show you something a bit different.
Ooh.
So,
well, let's get straight into it. What are you going to show us?
So today I'm going to show you how to make a foam-free design using... well, we call these all sorts of different things, so you can call
them... you call them frogs, don't you?
So I actually call them a pincushion.
A pincushion.
Which is quite an old-fashioned thing.
Which makes sense, to be fair.
And then a lot of people now will call them a floral frog.
Why?
I'm not quite sure, because to me a floral frog is something a little bit different. It's like a little plastic thing that looks like a pizza... you know the thing that you have in the
table thing that you put in the middle of a
that's
pizza,
what I would use to stick like some Oasis fix on the bottom and stick it onto something and stick something to it. But this, so I call it a pincushion. Lots of people now call it a floral frog, and the Japanese call it, I think it's a Kenzan.
Okay.
But yeah,
I just don't
heavy.
know how it gets to. It is heavy. How it gets to be called a frog. If anybody knows, leave a comment down below.
But I think on your website, I think you've got them on there as floral frogs.
Okay.
So yeah, that's generally what people are calling them now.
I've no idea why. And of course, this is a foam-free design, as you say, and there is a trend going back towards the sort of sustainable way of doing things.
Yeah, it's definitely a more sustainable design, but rather than being like a trend, I would say like this, rather than this is old school. So this is how we did it before. So people, and for a lot of people, it didn't go away.
Yeah.
And obviously these are, you know, they're really metal, they're heavy, you can use them over and over and over again.
Yeah, but a lot of people still use foam, and there's nothing wrong with using foam if that's the way you want to go, but sustainability, we are seeing more people. We've got a sustainable eco section on the website.
Yeah, for me, this is how I like to work. Actually, there are some flowers that work better being kept in water. So they need to have a lot of water, take up a lot of water. So this is a good way of keeping them fresh and hydrated. Okay. So we've got our floral frog. And we've got a container. So I've got a few different containers, different sizes.
You've got cereal bowls.
Yeah. They're not cereal bowls, but
that's a nice looking cereal bowl.
If grey's your thing. So these are nice. Obviously, it's got to be waterproof, or you need to put something inside of it to make it waterproof. And then you want to have something where you can put water in there that's going to cover the floral frog. So it doesn't have to be a really deep dish like this. It can be something really quite shallow. As long as you can cover.
So you just got to cover the top of the spikes.
Yeah, these are a little bit deeper. So what you do is you just pop that in. Now you can fix that down with some Oasis Fix if you want to, but it's really heavy, that's not really going to go anywhere. Then I want to pour some water in, and I'm just going to cover over. You just need to cover the spikes. Right, so if you notice, we put in quite a big frog into here because my stems are quite thick. So it's quite simple really, the thicker the stems, the bigger the frog you want.
So we've got those other 3 sizes over there.
Yeah, so we can look at those later on as to like...
Okay, I'll get back.
Or do you want to look at them now?
No. you go. You tell me when we're going to do it. That's fine.
Sorry. So yeah, so this is it's really quite simple. It looks nice if you're going to have it as a standalone design, or a lot of people will have them maybe on tables. And you can go a little bit higher because you don't put a huge amount in these, so you can still see through them. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my biggest flower down at the bottom, my weightiest flower, and I'm going to cut that on an angle, not too much of an angle actually, and then you literally push it on the spikes.
That's so simple.
And it's on there. Okay?
That's great.
So then it's quite sturdy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
So if when I first started using these, I used to really worry and think, if I'm taking them to an event, I'd think, I need to get there early and do everything on site. But actually, if you package them up for delivery really well, sort of in buckets and scrunch some paper and things around, you don't need to make them on site. The only thing I would do is sometimes I wouldn't put as much water in, and then I'd top them up with water. When you get there, So I've put my bottom one in, and then what I'm going to do is just do a little spiral, really, of the flowers at different heights. I'm going to look at how the stems are going. So that one's quite a wonky one. So I'm going to use that one quite at the top to give it a bit of movement.
So you can leave the stems quite long then?
Yeah. So a lot of the the frogs, it started off, I think, I could be wrong, but a lot of it comes from Japan, where they do a thing called ikebana, which is very limited. And I don't want to say too much because it's very much, I've got a really good friend who's Japanese actually, and she was telling me it's a lot to do with each family has its own form of ikebana, and it has a lot to do with their status, which I don't know enough about, but ikebanas, it's really interesting in Japan. But yeah, so you don't actually have to have a lot of flowers in there, which is another great thing for people if they want to be, you know, it's really nice for corporate as well. Yeah. So if you're a florist and you want to send, you have like weekly flowers, this is a good thing because you could have a few quite big, bold flowers in a container. So it's not too expensive for you. It's not too expensive for the client. It's sustainable. And the flowers are in water, so they last quite well. So it's just a different way of doing it. So we have this in like some hotels or maybe like a spa or something like that. So that you can give impact. So you tend to use bigger flowers for something like this.
I can see that in a spa. It feels very spa-like.
Spa-like, yeah. And it's a nice thing of doing is looking at the stems that you have, and you can either do it all round or you can do it front-facing. Yeah. Looking at the stems that you have and then working with them. So that one's giving it a bit of movement. I'm going to have this one, so I'm sort of spiralling them from the centre.
I have seen some videos on Instagram of people, I think it is in Japan, doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, ikebana is a whole other art form. Yeah. But this kind of is where the roots of this are for. But and then I'm going to use some agapanthus just to bring some texture down low. Cut that a little bit shorter actually. And you can, what's nice with the pincushions are, you can quite easily put them on and take them off again. So, you know, it allows for if it's not quite in the right place.
I suppose with foam, once you've done that, it gets
you can take it out, but it makes a bigger hole. Whereas with this, if you make a mistake, you can sort of move them around. The other thing that's quite nice with this is, because it's on the pincushion, say for instance, or if you're somebody who wants to do things at home or something like that, and say this has died, but these are all looking great, you can just take that off and change the water over and put something else in. Right. So I'm going to have that one a bit higher. So I'm just sticking to a couple of colours here.
How do you know when you've got enough?
Well, each one's a bit different actually. I'm going to keep this quite limited. I'm maybe going to add maybe one more just down here. It's effective,
modern,
isn't it?
Really minimalist. It's gorgeous, yeah.
It's definitely one of those ones where you want to think about the flowers that you're going to put in. So you want different shapes, different textures, something bold. I am trying to cut into the bin. And then I'm going to have that one lower.
Failing.
I'm going to have that one a little bit lower. Sorry.
It's fine. Just leave it. It's fine. It's okay.
Right, okay. So it's very kind of minimal, but I think they're really quite effective.
I really like that.
If you had a container that you could, this is obviously quite a deep container, so you can't see into the container, but if you didn't want to see your pincushion, if it was for a corporate client or something like that, you could fill it with some of the gravel or the pebbles or something, you know, just to cover over the cushion, because the water will still go through. Yeah. Or if you had a really shallow dish, you could put some of the bun moss or something like that to cover your mechanics. In all honesty, if I was doing something like in this container, you can't see it. Yeah. So then just keep it topped up with water. So that's something in quite the big one. I mean, I want to fiddle with that now and cut that one a bit shorter, but...
Okay, let's just leave it there.
Let's just leave it there.
Okay, it's very nice.
Never done.
It's very nice.
So you've got something like that, which is your larger one.
Yeah.
So then if I show you sorts of flowers that I might use in some of the different sized
we're going to talk about different sizes now.
You can talk about the different sizes now. Shall I move that way? Yeah. So if I was going for something like this really tiny little one, that would be nice for like your real smaller kind of like dainty little flowers, like cornflowers, that kind of thing. Or maybe just one or two medium-sized flowers. Okay. And then we've kind of got...
what kind of container? Because obviously you wouldn't put that in here.
So that could go for something like a really small one.
Okay.
You know, you could go even smaller than that. As long as I say, as long as there's like enough surface area around. I've seen a lot of people are doing, you know, the table runners, the aisle runners for weddings. So they're having different sizes of these, and then they might just have 2 or 3 wispy flowers in one of these and then a few more in the other. What's nice about these is as well, it kind of gives the flower can have a bit of movement. So it gives it that natural feel to it. So that I'd use for something like the corn flowers.
Even something as delicate as that?
Oh, I'll show you a little hack.
Okay.
How to get those in. So then you've got your medium-y one where I'd go for something, you know, that sort of size. And then you've got your dahlias for that sort of size. But again, you could use the bigger flowers in all of these. You just have to be careful how many
could you still put, why would you not put that one in the medium?
Well, you could do. I was trying to sort of show like the different sizes. If I had only a few of these, I could definitely put them in here. If I was doing something bigger or mixture, I'd go for that sort of size.
So it might be to do with the volume of flowers, the number of flowers you're going to put in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, it might be that like, these are quite an investment.
Yeah.
So you might want to start off small and not go for a bigger one and then work
Of course,
your way
these are things you use again and again.
Yeah, so these are great that you can use them again and again. So I used quite a lot of these for like weddings and events, and then I'll go back and collect them and collect the container, which is great. But sometimes you might get clients that want to take the whole thing away with them. So it might be their container. So you can get plastic ones, and they've got suckers on the bottom. And obviously they're not very expensive, they're quite inexpensive compared to these. Although you can reuse them, so although they are plastic, you can reuse them. The only thing with those is they're not so heavyweight, so that tends to be for lighter flowers.
Okay.
But if you were using...
So you wouldn't use that for something like that, a plastic
No,
one?
no. But what I would do, if I was doing, and I've done this quite recently at quite a lot of weddings, is if I was doing something bigger like that and it had the floral frog, but the clients, obviously they've paid for the flowers at the end of the event, they want to take them away. Quite a lot of brides, grooms, couples this year are having a flower bar. So they're having like jam jars with ribbon and then they have a little sign and it just says at the end of the evening, please fill me up. So then they can just take them away, pop them in the jar, you go back and you collect your frogs, etc. Right, so if I had something like the little delicate cornflower, which don't overly want to go in here. So what you do is you take a stem, a thicker, sturdier stem and snip it. So I've got one that I did here earlier. You push that on and then you take your more delicate stem and you need to be really careful to make sure you kind of get it through the middle, otherwise it doesn't go in. And you push that in.
If you have trouble, I guess, and this is just me talking as a non-florist, you could do that, but then turn it over. Yeah. And then you can get your stem in easier.
Yeah. Do you want to pop a stem in?
I know. Oh, God. Does it work? Does it work? This
I'm
is
sure
very
it's going to
delicate,
work,
isn't it? That doesn't work.
Hang on, it will. It will. Just that I snipped mine and you didn't.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, it does work. Look at that.
It does work. You see? So you can use something more delicate.
Yeah.
You know, because it can suck. You can cut that even shorter. Yeah. Works great with things like spring flowers, like the daffodils and things like that. Yeah, they work well with going into tulips and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's a little way of using the lighter flowers, and it's quite sort of light and airy. And
it is.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, I love that. A really nice way to get the delicate flowers. So let's bring this one back in.
So you can see, like moving it around, it feels really quite. It's quite sturdy, isn't it? It's not like people are worried. People worry that using something like this, you know, that it's going to move around and wobble. But like you can see yourself, those sunflowers are like.
Not at all. They're really, really staying in place, aren't they?
And it's a great one for like at the moment, well, when the weather's hot, or again, if they go into like an office or a corporate environment, everybody tends to have the heating turned up. Yeah. So you can just keep them topped up with water and they're drinking. Yeah,
that's perfect. Emma, thank you so much for that. If you have any comments, please leave them down below on Facebook and on YouTube. And Emma might even respond if you've got some questions and stuff. Or we will. Just leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. Hit the bell icon. You'll be notified every time we upload a new show. From myself and Emma, see you next time. Bye. Bye.